Super clean. Somebody did a hell of a job on this. Can't even talk about live. Hey, Shalom, Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh, Rock and Thumb, Yahweh, Shem, Yahweh, Thumb, Ba'ashim, Yahweh, Shah. Preaching office of 1,000 Malaki, holding down the Tuesday Brotherhood class. We're going to get right into it. We're going to, if anybody got questions, comments, type of man, we'll get to them. We're going to 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 16.
Second Timothy chapter 3, verse 16.
I was going to read it.
I got it.
No time to curse.
All scriptures is given by inspiration of God.
It says that all scriptures is given by inspiration of God. Hold on, so let me catch up with you. Can you read it again?
All scriptures are given by inspiration of God.
It says all scriptures are given by inspiration of God. That means everything that you read inside this Bible, everything that we breaking down inside this class was inspired by the Most High. You know, it's a reason that this book is the number one Southern book of all time. You understand? Because the word of God is inside this Bible. You know, talking to God is not like, you know, me and you having a conversation, like me talking to you. Talking to God is reading his word. You understand? Doing what he tells you to do. You know what he tells you to do because you're listening to him. You're reading these scriptures, you're going over it, you're keeping these laws. You understand? This is the word of God. When you reading these Bibles as a man, when you reading it, head uncovered. When you, as a woman, when you're reading the Bible, head covered. Because that's showing respect to the Most High. And as you should. He is your father. He's your leader. You understand? He's the one that's helping you through life, giving you your blessings. It's not the universe. It's not the stars, not the astrology. You understand? It's the Most High that's sparing your life, that's giving you another opportunity on this earth every day. You understand? So you should pay him that respect. They say all scripture. So like, hippie, you got it. I just noticed that going over it. That was the Most High. Go ahead.
And is profitable for doctrine.
And it's profitable for doctrine. Go ahead.
For reproof.
For what?
For reproof.
For reproof. Let's get the definition of reproof. You understand? Reproof. Criticism for a fault. You understand? Basically correcting yourself. You read this Bible, you watch the classes, especially General Muhammad's class. You understand? When he breaking down the Bible, is reproving you. It's helping you make the proper adjustments or proper changes you have to. You understand? Because one thing about us as a nation, we're one body. So one person is going through something, most likely we're all feeling that same vibe. We're all feeling that same demon, that same pull, try to get us to think a certain way or behave in a certain way. That's why Monday classes are mandatory. You understand? Every school across the nation has a mandatory class. You understand? And that's so that we can all come together and hear the word of God, hear this doctrine, and be able to make the correction that we need to make, be steered in the direction that we need to go. You understand? Read on.
For correction.
Mm-hmm.
For instructions in righteousness.
For instructions in righteousness. Because if you're not listening to the word of the Most High, then you're listening to your flesh. And your flesh is going to just lead you to a grave. That's the only thing that your flesh is going to do. If you let your flesh guide you, instruct you, your emotions guide you and instruct you, then you're not going to make it that far in life. You're just going to grow up and get older, but you're not going to mature because your body is going to want the same thing forever. It ain't nothing going to change about it. It's going to lust after what it's going to lust after, and most likely you've gotten them lust at a young age. You understand? And if that lust is what drives you, what gives you motivation behind your actions, if that lust is what instructs you, then you're never going to mature into the person that the Most High needs you to be, into the person that your brothers and sisters and your wives and your husbands and your children and your mothers, your family, who we all need you to be. You're not going to be able to mature into that person because you're still being instructed by your flesh. You're not being instructed by the Most High. And it said that all scripture is given, you know, by inspiration of the Most High for instruction in righteousness. Read on.
That the man of God may be perfect.
Read it again.
That the man of God may be perfect.
That the man of God may be perfect. Now, perfection, according to the Most High, is not what society view perfection as. Perfection of God is not, you know, making sure you make it to work every day on time and never miss a day, never call out, never curse. Make sure you take your trash out every week on time. Make sure you never late. You know, that's not what the Most High is referring to when he say be perfect. You understand? Or when he say that the man of God may be perfect. That's not what he's referring to. Now, of course, those things are good to do. It's good, you know, as an adult to be on time, to have a schedule, have discipline. That's good. But when the Most High is saying be perfect, he means keeping these laws inside of this Bible. Understand? Being corrected. That's what he mean. He mean that you're not smoking weed, smoking hookah. You understand? That you're not having sex with hoes, that you're not being a hoe, that you're not having abortions, that you're not destroying your household, that you're not murdering, you understand, watching pornography, that you're keeping these laws, that you're going to the Passover, attending the high holy days, the feast days. You understand? That's what the Most High mean. If you're a brother or a sister inside His truth, you just following the orders that's given to you from your head. You understand? That's what the Most High mean by being perfect. People say that, oh, you can't be perfect. You can't be perfect. But their idea of perfection is not what the Most High mean when he says to be perfect. When he's saying that we may be perfect. You understand? Our thoughts is not the Most High's thoughts. But we can get on a certain level of what the Most High is thinking, or at least what he's instructing us to do by reading these Bible, by reading these scriptures. You understand? That's how we can be perfect. And it's not such a it's not as difficult as we think it is. But when we hear we got to be perfect, we think it's an impossible task. We think, and nobody is perfect, because we think if we get angry or if we curse or we use profanity, then we're not perfect in the eyes of the Most High. We think that if we give a homeless man some change, that's adding to our perfection and that's giving us blessings. And that's what the Most High mean by being perfect. Again, that's a good thing to do, but it's not what the Most High is referring to when he says to be perfect. He just mean keeping these laws in his Bible. And as the Bible states, it's not a grievous thing. It's not something that's going to bring you sorrow. It's not something that's going to bring you shame and guilt. It's something that's going to help you in life. That's going to lift you up from a lower state that you feeling from whatever it is that is trying to distract you from listening to the Most High. You understand? Read that next part.
Thoroughly finished, thoroughly furnished unto all good works.
Unto all good works. You know what a good work is? Read this Bible, you'll find out. A good work is having brotherhood, it's having sisterhood, compassion, understanding, check-ins, everything in one. You making sure that you doing right by the Most High, and you do right by the Most High by doing right by your brothers and sisters, and you do right by your brothers and sisters by doing right by yourself. Once you really get a good idea of how to do right by yourself, then you'll really be able to let your light shine and show your brothers and your sisters the way to go, and show them how to be polite and how to be kind and how to forgive and how to forgive again and how to forgive again and how to forgive again, and also how to be wise. You understand? We're gonna drop that. We're gonna get into Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. Now, being a brother or sister inside of truth, or just growing up, it's important to keep your mind focused. It's very important because it's something always trying to influence you. No matter what it is, something is always trying to influence you. And if you don't influence yourself, if you don't brainwash yourself, something else is going to brainwash you. There ain't no way around that. Especially these screens, these ads and commercials and TV shows. You understand? Especially that. I remember this show, this movie I was watching with my daughters. What's the name of it? Incredibles. Incredibles Part 2, the movie. It was this one villain. His name was the Screen Slaver, and he would hypnotize people if they was in front of a screen. He would have some background that would hypnotize them, and they would say and do what he wants them to do. And that's the same thing, of course, in real life. Not as drastic and not as straightforward as that, but it's definitely influencing us to think a certain way, to act a certain way, to say certain things, have a perception on life that is not yours. It's something that's given to you. You understand? And of course, like as a child, it's really up to your parents to pour in your head what you should think and how you should think and how you should maneuver. But once you grow up and get older, it's up to you to be in control of what's being poured in your head, what's being what you're being influenced by. That's up to you. Now we're gonna read Matthew 6 and 22.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 22. The light of the body is the eye.
Mm-hmm.
If therefore thy eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light.
It says the light of the body is the eye. That means your body gets light from what you're looking at, what you're focused on. It say, if therefore thine eye be single, now we gotta start right there because it's saying if your eye be single, what does that mean? That means that you're focused on something, as opposed to your eye being double or multiplied. You focus on a bunch of different things. You understand? You focus on a bunch of different doctrines, a bunch of different ways of life, like how we are in the world. We're just trying to make sure that everybody's customs and culture is respected, and we incorporate all of them to our own, just like America. America is filled with a bunch of different customs, a bunch of different cultures that's all combined into one. That's all celebrated throughout the entire year by everybody. You understand? Our eye is not single in the world. Our eye is on everything. It's focused on all different types of doctrine, all different types of ways of living. That's why we're so confused and we're so lost, especially blacks and Hispanics. We're so confused and lost and no identity because we don't have any customs to follow. We're following everybody's customs. Birthdays, Christmas, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, all the customs that we follow have nothing to do with us at all. We're lost and we're destroyed because of that. That is a main reason why we're so lost, because we don't have nothing to cling on to. We're clinging on to everything and anything, even the stuff that's not good for us, that's not healthy for us. You understand? It says, the light of the body is the eye. Therefore, if thine eye be single, thy whole body shall be full of light. You understand? What you focus on is what will guide you. That's what's gonna, that's what's gonna drive you and motivate you and give you fulfillment. Let me see, what we got? Six and then you read on in verse 23, it says, but if thine eye is if thine eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. You understand? If what you focusing on is not right, then that's what's going to be in your body. If you focus your whole life on gambling, that's what your life is going to be, a gamble, 50-50. So like, could we turn the fans on or the heat down? Either one of them. You understand? It said, if thy eye be evil, thy whole body shall be full of darkness. If your eye is single and focus on the right things and not so caught up in nonsense, social media, gossip, then your body is going to be filled with light, and you're going to be able to be guided more properly. Understand? We're going to drop down to Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19. Or we'll drop up to 6 and 19. It says, lay not up for yourself. You got it, the water.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 19. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doeth corrupt.
Understand? Lay not up treasures for yourself upon the earth. I mean, the things that you're really focused on, that you're trying to achieve, don't let them all be stuff that's just carnal. All things like money, which is mainly the whole purpose of people, just to get money, just to get the most money and live comfortably. But the thing is, it's not impossible to live comfortably in this life, of course, because people do it. But we gotta understand that this is not our rest. America is not meant to be a place where we live comfortably at, which means most of us will not be able to have enough money to be comfortable. We might have enough money to just get by, have enough money to pay our bills. You understand?
To pay a bill, first you will need to link your account.
Siri.
Would you like to
Siri?
do that now?
Oh, that's Alexa. No, Alexa. What is this? Understand? Most of us would just live our whole
You
life
want to
chasing a
link your
dollar.
account now?
Siri, no. Alexa,
Okay.
no. Understand? That's our whole life. It's just chasing money. Money that can just be gone. Moth and rust, corrupt. I was watching Narcos, people bury money and that money sometimes get molded when they need it. They go back and try to find it and it's molded, or somebody rob you and take it, or money gonna be money. It's gonna be up sometimes, it's gonna be down. You're gonna have a lot and you're gonna have a little bit. If that's what you focused on, then again, your life is not gonna take that much of success. You're not going to have much success in your life if that's the only thing that you focused on. Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon the earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt. Read on.
And where thieves break through and steal.
And where thieves break through and steal. You want to have your mindset on carnal things. Understand? On materialistic things. If that's your whole purpose, then again, when thieves break in and steal it, what you gonna have? What are you gonna be able to lean back on? You understand? Let me see. Read on.
But lay for yourselves treasures in heaven.
Lay for yourselves treasures in heaven. What's a treasure in heaven? That's brotherhood. That's having a throne on this earth, rulership. You understand? Lay for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth does corrupt and where thieves do not break in. You understand? It's speaking about you and your spirituality. You gotta be you have to have a spiritual compass. You understand? You can't just be so focused on physical things. what you see right here in front of you. But sometimes your goal is not something that you can see right here in front of you at the moment. It's not something that you can clock in for. It's something that you have to battle from within yourself. You gotta focus, and you gotta really understand what your mind is on and what's trying to influence you. Let me see verse 21. Because hold on. It's your mind is gonna be on whatever is valuable to you. Whatever is valuable to you, whatever your treasure is, that's what's going to give you that motivation. You understand? And a lot of people, what's valuable to us mainly is just money. That's it. That's the only thing that's viable. When folks ask like, what do you bring to the table? They just looking for money. You understand? That's the main thing for a lot of people is the money, and that's what's viable to us. That's what we focus on. That's what drives us, especially men. That's why, as a man, if you don't have money or you don't have a job, then it's hard for you to feel like a man. Because in this society, that's what we correlate masculinity to. It's just having money. You understand? But of course, money is going to be up, money is going to be down. And when men don't have money, then they will lose morals. They will lose their morals. They will go out and do things just to get that money, just to make their woman happy. You understand? Because their treasure is flimsy. What they focus on is flimsy. It's nothing that's really going to have no type of longevity. Because money is meant to be spent. It's going to be here. It's going to be gone. That's just as good as it's going to get. You can't have money forever. That defeats the purpose of having money. You have money so that you can spend it, and that's some of the best things that people have going for themselves. It's just money. That's their main form of discipline. It's just having a job. They get up, they go to work, clock in, and come home, and they do that every day. That's the only time they have discipline in their life is when they're going to work. Because in reality, we're slaves. We don't have an option. It's not we don't have a choice. So that's where all of our discipline is at. We don't have a lot of discipline to go to the gym, to eat right, to do well by others. We don't have a lot of discipline in those areas. Only thing we do is wake up, get dressed, clock in. That's it. Good to find a hobby. You know what I mean? It's good to have hobbies and other things that's not so closely tied to money. Because when you don't have the money, what are you going to do? You can't rob somebody. You can't stress about it. And if you don't have money and that's what your whole life is about, that's what your whole focus is about. And when you don't have it, you're going to be less than the person that you are. You're going to have these moments of doubt, insecurity, and so, like I said, especially in men and women too. You're going to have breakdowns. You're going to experience darkness, a downward spiral, all because your money is not what you want it to be. That's why it's good to find other things to give you purpose and give you drive. Like how the Most High say, put yourself up treasures in heaven. You understand? Make sure that you got something going on with the work of the Lord. Make sure that you have something that you can always turn to give you that boost to still feel valuable when one thing in your life is not going right, or when you don't have money, or when you don't have something that's going to drive you as much as this thing is when you lose it. Like I said, most times it's just money. So it says in verse 21, let me see.
Verse 21. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also.
Where your treasure is, where your heart will be also. what you find valuable, that's what your mind is going to be on all the time, 24/7. And I know my generation, we find our phones very valuable. That's what our mind is on all the time. Understand? 90s babies, 2000 babies, that's what we find valuable. And we're going to be sucked in our phones all the time. And that's just, and that's going to be it. It's like a way to escape, you know. I definitely have noticed when I spend more time on my phone, it's just a way to help me not really deal with the problems that I'm facing. You know what I mean? And I noticed that in multiple people as well, brothers, sisters, you understand? It's just a way to try to take your mind away from what's going on. I think somebody knocked on the door. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a way to take your mind off of what's really going on or what you don't have, or a way to just make yourself feel better. But it's not a healthy way. You understand? It's not something that really holds a lot of weight to it. You understand? So I say this good. It's good to find a little hobby, something that you can do. Try to just get away from your phone. That's it. Try to get away from it. Be productive. People say they don't got enough time. They don't got enough time to do this and that. But I was surprised when I put the screen time on my phone and it tracks how much I use my phone and what apps I use the most. Say you spend on average like 20 hours a week on social media. You understand? That's just the average. All the times I was able to convince people to put the screen time on their phone, whether it's at the sleep, whether it's at home, and I asked them, all right, at the end of the week, how much time do you have you spent on your phone? Most of the time, or all of the time, they say is social media, and it's just like anywhere from 15 to 20 hours a week. Now, you take that and mix it in with the fact that people think that they don't got enough time in a day. You got 15 hours, 20 hours a week that you spend on your phone. You know what I mean? You got to try to get away from that. Try to find a nice little hobby to keep you afloat when things isn't going right. When you experiencing a moment of loss or something. You know what I mean? When you down on money, you down on a job, your relationships ain't going right. You understand? You can find a nice little hobby to keep you above, like keep you afloat. You understand? Keep your mind right. Let me see. You gotta start off with reachable goals too. Like little hobbies, something that's reachable. You can't just start off with, you're going to go to the gym 20 times a week. You understand? You gotta start off with something small. Real quick, we're gonna go to Ecclesiasticus chapter 38. And verse 25.
Ecclesiasticus chapter 38, verse 25. How can he get wisdom that holdeth the plunge?
Oh, I think I skipped it.
Verse 24. The wisdom of a learned man cometh by opportunity of lecture.
Oh, dang it.
Which one you looking for?
Oh no, Proverbs 11:1. That's what I'm looking for. Proverbs chapter 11.
Proverbs chapter 11, verse 1. A false balance is an abomination to the Lord.
It says, as far as balance is an abomination to the Lord. The Lord loves a good balance. Not too much on one side, not too much on the other side. He loves a good balance. And that goes back to the social media. You understand? We think that, okay, we on social media this much, but we can multitask. The truth about multitasking is that, one of the tasks that you're doing is suffering. It's not getting all of the attention as the other one. That's why they say don't text and drive, or don't be on the phone and driving, because they know that, if you're on the phone, you're not as focused. If you're texting, you're not as focused, even though you can do it, but it's just a higher chance of an accident happening. We spend a lot of time on our phones, especially as young people. We spend a lot of times on our phones, and other things is suffering. It's not getting as much focus. It's not getting as much attention. So yes, of course, you may be on your phone at work or at home or cooking or something or driving, but you're not giving all of your focus to both tasks. You have to just switch between tasks, and that is something that is not healthy. Because of course social media is very much addictive. What I mean? It's addictive, and it'll consume you, and it'll continue to influence you and give you all of these false ideas about life and about relationships that's not really, practical. That's not realistic. So you really have to focus. You really have to focus on what you're spending your time on, what you're focusing on. You know, you got to have a nice balance, and a nice balance don't always mean perfectly even. It just means a good balance. You know what I mean? A good amount of attention or focus and drive and discipline being distributed. You know, gonna drop that. Going to get into some Brotherhood scriptures. Get into some Brotherhood scriptures. Psalms chapter 26 and verse 1. Let's see. Yep, Psalm 26 and 1. It says, a psalm of David. It says, judge me, O Lord, for I have walked in mine integrity. I have trusted also in the Lord, therefore I shall not slide. A key part in brotherhood is making sure that you're right with yourself. Understand? If you're not right with yourself, then it's going to be hard to lend a brother some love, lend a sister some love, and be kind. If you're not right within yourself, then it's not going to be an easy task. But King David saying, judge me, Most High. I walked in your integrity, and I trusted in him. Verse 2, it says, examine me, O Lord, and prove me. Try my reins and my heart. He's asking, King David is asking the Most High to examine him, to look at his actions and his deeds, because he knows that he's serving the Most High. You understand? He knows that he's serving him. You and as a person in the truth, you have to battle your own thoughts. That's going to be the whole war, is you battling your own thoughts. And the way to battle your thoughts is to know your enemy. Your enemy is yourself, them demons inside of your head. Know what event takes place that leads you to this depression, leads you into this spiral. Because of course, when you're depressed and you're spiraling, you're more open to an attack from a demon. And a lot of times it'd be the same things that that gives us that, what is it? it'd be the same thing that triggers us, whether it's money, kids, work, school, whatever it is, something to trigger us and something to have us going in that spiral that'll make us more susceptible to a demon. You understand? You have to know that demons attack when you're weak. They don't attack you when you're in class and you hearing the breakdowns and everything is making so much sense and it seems easy. Like, all right, listen, this is what I gotta do. You know, don't answer the phone when this person called me and they just want to come over and have sex. Don't answer the phone when this person called me and they want to go out and smoke hookah and do all this crazy stuff. You understand? The demons won't attack you when you in class and you surrounded by your brothers and you getting the scriptures broken down for you. You know, it attacks you when you're weak. So you have to know your triggers and know how to handle them, know how to acknowledge it and handle it in a productive way. You understand? You have to know yourself. You understand? You have to examine yourself, know all of your tendencies, know what's going to trigger you. You know, for me, it's always like, of course, work. You know what I mean? That's the main thing that would lead me to having like some doubts. You know, but knowing that you're able to prepare for it, you know, in times of peace, you got to prepare for a war. Understand? Times of peace, prepare for war because you know a calm mind can make rational decisions. It's hard to be rational when you're in the battle, when you're in that fight already. You're not thinking clear enough. You understand? So if you already have this idea, this game plan on what to do when these things happen, or a good foundation on how to pick yourself up, then you're going to be okay. You understand? You're going to get through this hard time, these dark times. You understand? And you have to make that plan and execute it. You got to execute it once it comes down to it. Once it comes down to you being in a battle, you know, you got to execute it because it's a battle. You're going to have to fight. You know what I mean? It's not going to go away. It's not going to just leave you. You understand? Let me see if I can find this scripture real quick. I believe it's James chapter 4, verse 7. Yep, James chapter 4 and 7. It says, submit yourselves therefore to the Most High and resist the devil, and he will flee from you. You know, you resist the devil when you're having all of these thoughts in your mind to go against the Most High. And it sometimes don't even be that simple. It's not as simple as you having a thought like go smoke weed. You understand? It's a process. It's a process that happens. You know, the initial thought may be just something that's stressful, that's going to lead you to having, you know, lack of brotherhood, you know, lack of love towards yourself. Something stressful happens, and now your mind isn't as clear as it could be. You know, now the demons start to talk to you, start to give you all of these negative thoughts, all this doubt, all this you know, self-hate. You know what I mean? Just a bad voice in your head. That's where that's where it's going to start at. That's where it's going to come from. You understand? It says, resist the devil and he will flee. You gotta fight those thoughts. You can't just let the time pass. It's like dealing with a bully. If a bully know that you easy money, you're gonna keep coming back to you. You're gonna keep on taking your lunch money. You're gonna keep on pushing you around, picking on you, making you the butt of all the jokes because he knows that you're not gonna do nothing. All you're going to do is just wait for the time to pass. And you waiting for the time to pass is not action. You know, it's not you dealing with it. It's you just waiting for the time to pass. And in that time that's passing, the demon is having his way with you. The demon is making you stressed out because you're not combating these thoughts. That's the whole war. It's thoughts. So how are you going to fight back? You're gonna have to fight back with thoughts. That's it. You having bad thoughts, fighting back with positive thoughts. Don't be afraid to be optimistic. Because one thing about the truth is that we don't know what's going to happen. We don't really know what the Most High have planned. So you serving the Most High, you know that you're doing right by Him. Don't be afraid to be optimistic. You understand? Don't be afraid to think positive thoughts. Don't let all them negative thoughts drown your mind out and cloud your judgment, because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's the only way that you can fight back. You can call and get counsel, but of course the demon's gonna find a way to convince you that you don't need it. You understand? But to really battle demons and resist Satan is to know how he's going to attack you, know what he's going to use against you, and be able to combat it. Be able to have your own set of thoughts ready and lined up to go. Understand? Really take a step back and see the problem. And a good way to think effectively is to have somebody else look at your situation. See what you're going through, see what's happening, and they can give you that insight on it. You understand? They can give you that piece of advice that you don't see, because of course you're in this battle. The demons is having their way with you, and you can't think clearly. That's what counsel is. You understand? That's what calling somebody in the school is. I've done that plenty of times, and it helped. Understand? When you got all these thoughts in your mind and you don't know which way to go, you're going to call them and they're going to instruct you in righteousness with this doctrine. Understand? They're going to be able to help you out of this dark place. That's what this counsel is. You understand? They're going to help you out this dark place with putting positive thoughts in your mind, plans and actions. You understand? That's what they're going to put in your mind. That's how you resist the devil. That's how you resist Satan. Resist them thoughts. It's by having thoughts of your own. Those thoughts that you have that's so terrible is not your own thoughts. You know what I mean? They're not your own thoughts. None but Satan trying to get to you. You can't let him. You have to impose your will over his. You got to impose your will over the thoughts of them demons. It's not an easy task, but it's not impossible. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some planning. You understand me? It says, draw nigh to the Most High, He will draw nigh unto you. You draw nigh to Him by knowing what He wants you to do. Listening to Him. Listening to Him don't mean that you sit at home in the dark on a Sabbath with your Bible and just read the Bible and think that He's talking to you. It's of course getting these proper breakdowns. You understand? Getting the proper counsel. That's how you listen to the Most High. That's how you draw nigh to Him. You understand? It says, cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. You understand? Double-minded as in you not being too sure if the Most High going to come to your rescue. That He's not being too sure that He has a plan for you, or He's going to help you out this situation. You being double-minded. It's saying, cleanse your hearts. And real quick, we're going to drop that. And we're going to get up into 1 John chapter 4, verse 20.
4 verse 20?
Yeah.
1 John chapter 4 verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hated his brother, he is a liar.
Say, if a man say, I love God, but hate his brother, he's a liar. crazy part is everybody say they love God. Everybody says it. Everybody believes that they love God, but how do you truly know that you love God is, of course, by keeping His laws and His commandments. That's what love is. It's obedience to the Most High. You show your brother that you love him by keeping the laws in the Bible that pertains to him. You show your spouse that you love them by keeping the laws in the Bible that pertains to him. Not by going out today and buying all these pink balloons and roses and flowers. That's not what love is. Just because today is Valentine's Day, don't mean that you have to go out and get your woman some flowers to show her that you love her. You understand? You show her that you love her by correcting her, providing that stability, providing that guidance. You understand? That's how you show your woman that you love her. That's how you show your brothers that you love them, is by keeping these laws that pertains to them. Is by not talking about them behind their back. If you got an issue with them, not letting those feelings fester to the point where you don't know what's going to happen next. Going to get to a point where you're unsure about what's going to happen if y'all see each other. Understand? You show your brother that you love him by obeying God. They say if a man say, "I love God," and he hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother, whom he hath seen, how can he love God, whom he has not seen? You see your brother every day. You see your brothers every single last day out here on these streets. The people that look like you, blacks, Hispanics, and Native American, those are your brothers. If you hate them, how could you possibly believe that you love God when you're not even obeying the laws that pertains to your brother? You're not doing right by your brother like God told you to. How can you claim that you love God? Next verse. It say, how can he love God whom he has not seen? You ain't never see God before, but you make it seem like, oh, if you really knew God, if you was really friends with God, that you'll be kind to him. Or if God was a human being, you'll be kind to him. That's a bold-faced lie, because you're not even being kind to your brother. Just like how folks be like, oh, when I hit the lottery, I'll do this, that, and the third. I'll spend all this money on this, and I'll give to these people. That's a lie, because they don't even do it with the money that they have now. They don't tip when they go to the restaurants. They don't tip as much as they should. Understand? And it's the same thing here. It's just a lesser level of love. If you can't even love your brother, you can't love the Most High. It's impossible. Verse 21 says, "And this commandment have we from him, that he who loves God loves his brother also." We're going to skip down to Matthew 25 and 40.
Matthew 25, verse 40. And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of these my brethren, ye have done it unto me.
Understand? And this is Christ speaking. He's saying the stuff that you do to his brothers is the same thing that you do to Christ. So how you interact with the people on this earth, that your brothers and sisters, how you interact with them is how Christ see that you would interact with him. You understand? If you interact with them in a certain manner, then that's how Christ is going to see it. If you help him out, then Christ will see it as you helped him. If you're being mean to him, being rude to him, you understand, being unbrotherly to him, then Christ will see it as you're being unbrotherly to him. You understand? The people that's obeying Christ, and that don't mean that you can treat people in the world like crap. because those are still your brothers. You understand? Christ is speaking about, of course, his disciples, people that's obeying him, that's following him. If you being rude to his prophets on the street corners, trying to throw food and trash at us, and that's how Christ see you viewing him. You say that you love God, but you hating your own brother. That's how God is viewing you. You understand? He's not listening to what you say. He's paying attention to what you do, your actions, how you conduct yourself, especially towards your brothers and your sisters. You understand? As a husband, your wife is your sister. As a father, your children are your brothers and your sisters. Of course they're your children, but that's still your brothers and your sisters. You understand? This Bible is all about teaching you how to love each other. That's what this whole Bible is about. Everything inside this Bible, you can tie it in with brotherhood. No matter what scripture it is, no matter what story it is, brotherhood is always a key component. You understand? It's a key component. Brotherhood and sisterhood, especially in relationships, it's a key component. You understand? We're going to skip down to John chapter 13, verse 34.
John chapter 13, verse 34. A new commandment I give unto you, that ye love one another.
It says, a new commandment that I give unto you. Of course, this is not a new commandment. This is one of the first commandments. You understand? That we have gotten from Moses. But Christ is saying that it's a new commandment because of how much we don't follow it, how much we don't obey this law. You understand? To love one another. Read on.
As I have loved you,
Mm-hmm.
that ye also love one another.
Love each other like how Christ loved you. That's what Christ is saying, that this is a new commandment. You understand? Like, as if, like, if we have a marker or something, or a to-do list, and we don't use it, and they say, look, I got you a new gift, and it's the same list that you've been neglecting. That's how he's saying it. Not that this is a new commandment, something that he's adding, but it's just the same one that we have been neglecting, especially out here in Philly. This is supposed to be the city of brotherly love, but the murder rate increases every single last year. I believe Philly is like in the top 3 most dangerous places to live in Pennsylvania. Like top 3. I think it may be number 1. Understand? It's because we don't love each other, especially how Christ loved us. And that comes from not really knowing who Christ really is and what he did and who he did it for. Understand? We can't go out here and try to give all of our allegiance and love to other nations, without really knowing how to love each other. Because we giving all of the love that we should give to each other to other people, other nations. You understand? Other races. It says, love each other as Christ has loved us. And how did Christ love us? And he died for us. He went and taught us how to act, how to behave, how to follow God. And that's how Christ wants us to love each other. He wants us to really conduct ourselves like how he did, as being perfect. That's being absolutely perfect. So give me 1 second. That's being absolutely perfect, keeping these laws. Christ went and he taught and he taught and he taught. That was his main mission on this earth, is to teach people how to turn from their evil ways and serve the Most High. Turn from their evil ways and love their brothers and sisters. That's something that is lost in the black community. It's terribly lost because of course, the Christian church. They don't teach us how to obey these laws. You know, they don't teach us how to be children of the Most High. They don't teach us that it's a sin to commit rape. And that's where a lot of our issues come from. Come from when we was a kid and some Christian or some Muslim violated us and we never got the proper justice. You understand? We never got over that trauma. You understand? And that is a big part in the downfall of our people. Of course, lack of brotherhood and sisterhood. You understand? Lack of it. And you have to know that, of course, somehow we think that the more that we've been hurt and the more that we've been hated, that teaches us how to love and how to heal. When of course it just teach you how to do the same thing. It teach you how to do the exact same thing. If you in relationship after relationship and the person that you would keeps on hurting you, you leave and goes to the next person, he hurt you. Leave and go to the next person, hurt you. And now you form this barrier to protect yourself. That don't teach you how to love. You think that okay, now you know how to do it because you've been hurt so many times. When in all reality, it just teach you how to be hurt and how to hurt someone else. You understand? That's what it teaches you. That's what it teaches you as from a young age too. All that hurt teaches you how to hurt. You have to unlearn it. Understand? You have to unlearn it and learn something new. You have to empty that vessel out and fill it up with something new, something more righteous. Understand? With this instruction inside this Bible, with this reproof that the Bible gives you. You understand? It says that ye love one another as I have loved you, that ye also love one another. By this, all men shall know that ye are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. That's how we're going to know if we truly follow Christ, by how we interact with each other. Like how the general broke down yesterday. So many different groups occur and break off because they don't have love for one another. It's envy. You understand? That's where everything started. You feeling entitled. You understand? That's what brings it out. Like how you said, you feel like you should have got a rank raise before this brother. You understand? Let me tell you something. This world don't owe you nothing. It don't owe you a damn thing. So for you to expect anything is foolish. You understand? That's going to lead you to being envious. It's going to lead you to quarrels and arguments and issues. You understand? That's why Christ saying to love each other how he loved you. And if you don't, then you're not going to be a disciple of Christ. You understand? He's going to chew you up and spit you out. That's it. It say, by this all men shall know that you are my disciples, if ye have love one to another. Understand? By not being envious or spiteful. Understand? By not doing wrong by your brother. If you're doing right by your brother, by your sister, then people are going to know that, listen, this is something different. You understand? Because for so long, being in this world, we see the same actions, the same mannerisms in everybody. Everybody we meet, it's a new face, but it's the same story. You understand? It's the same ending. Somebody always do somebody wrong because, that's all that we know. But once they really see somebody who was a disciple of Christ and how they maneuvering and how they moving throughout this world and throughout situations and issues and problems, then you'll know, okay, listen, this is a disciple of Christ. I should follow him. I should listen to him. You understand? It's bringing glory to Christ, into the Most High. Or if you don't do it, it's bringing shame to him. Lock it. Drop that. Matthew 5:22.
Matthew chapter 5, verse 22. But I say unto you, that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment.
It say, but he who is angry with his brother without a cause, which means that Christ is saying that you can be angry with your brother, but it has to be for a cause. You understand? That goes back to the idea that we have of perfection. It shatters it. If God is saying to be perfect, to not have no anger or not be mad or not curse, then why is Christ saying that if we're angry with our brother without a cause, we're going to be in danger of the judgment? It's because, like I said, perfection is just keeping these laws inside his Bible. It's not all of the tedious things that we imagine when we think of perfection. It's just keeping these laws inside his Bible. You can be angry at your brother, but it has to be for a cause. And not because he got better shoes, not because he got a better woman or a better house. You understand? Not because of any of those carnal things. A cause like he offended you, like he did you wrong, like he didn't keep these laws pertaining to you. Let's say, whosoever angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Rakah, shall be in danger of the council. But who shall say, thou fool, thou shalt be in danger of hellfire. You understand? This is going down the list, showing you. This is going off of the law that we have, that if we have an issue with our brother, we got to go to him and address it. You understand? We got to go to him and let it be heard. Of course, there's been plenty of times where, I don't want to say plenty, but just like I would say, like, 2 or 3 times where I felt like I was offended by the actions of another brother. And of course, you go to him, you talk to him, and everything gets understood and worked out one way or another. You might just have a wrong perception about what happened. You understand? Or you might be completely right about what happened, and they refuse to see it, and it goes to council, and it gets brought out in council what's right, what's wrong, and the heads will see who's right and wrong. And it's not really about who's right and wrong, but it's about casting that demon off of somebody, because that demon will lead your brother into making a wrong decision. And of course, as your brother or as your sister, you should want the best for him, just like how you will want the best for yourself, or how you will want the best for Christ. You understand? You should want that demon cast off of whoever is in the wrong. And maybe both of them, but that's what the council is for. If you have an issue with them, go to them, talk to them. Understand? Because if not, that's where all of the murders come from in the city. That's where all of the murders and the crime come from, because somebody was wrong and they couldn't communicate it to them. And so they couldn't talk to them and break it down, and they couldn't hear each other out. They couldn't agree to disagree, or whatever that is. And so they couldn't just respect each other's views, and they just let it grow out of control, and it took a wrong turn, and now there's suffering. You know what I mean? A lot of times with this stuff, the people that suffer most is the one that's close to you. Because if you die, there is no suffering for you. You ain't suffering no more, you dead. But if you're dead, that means there is people mourning for you. There's suffering. You understand? We're going to drop that. We're going to go to Luke chapter 6 and verse 31.
Luke chapter 6, verse 31. And as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise.
And as you would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. It's a lot of words in that scripture, but it's just saying treat others how you want to be treated. That's all that it's saying in modern times. You understand? That's why a lot of men don't want to have daughters, because they know the stuff that they did to other men's daughters was not okay. You understand? It was not nice at all, and they don't want that same thing happening to their daughters. You understand? They don't have a clear conscience. That's a perfect example. You understand? It says treat others how you want to be treated. You know, if you and it's doubly important because you should treat others how you want God to treat you. You know, if you want God to understand you and have mercy and forgive you, you gotta do the same thing to others. You understand? If you want somebody else to forgive you and to have mercy on you, then you should do the same to others. Of course, it's always hard to forgive somebody or to, let forgiveness, you know, grow in your relationship or to seek forgiveness. So like it's always hard to give for forgiveness, but you got to think of when you need to be given. You got to think of the times when you was going through stuff or you did wrong and you had to be forgiven. And imagine the guilt that you felt, or imagine the feelings. I mean, imagine all the things you felt when you did wrong and you needed somebody to forgive you. And then imagine how you felt when they did. It was a relief. So keep that same energy. Know how it feels to need forgiveness and see how hard it is to give it. So now that you're in the same position, see how hard it was for that person to forgive you for whatever wrong they felt like you've done. So whatever wrong you feel like they've done, now the shoe is on the other foot. That's what it is. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and now you have to extend that same brotherhood that was extended to you. And if you wasn't a person that nobody ever forgave you, nobody ever this, that, and the third for you, okay, cool. But Christ did. That's why Christ died. Understand? God forgive you of your sins. God is having mercy on you. That's why you're still alive. You have to have that same mindset when it comes to you being in the position to forgive some about. Of course, it's so hard, and of course, the demons going to make the situation replay in your head over and over and over again. It's going to feel like it's happening right now again. I know it's hard, but remember, it was hard for somebody to forgive you of your wrongdoing. You understand? It says, and as ye would that men should do to you, do ye also to them likewise. All right, we're going to drop that. On John 15 and 12, it says, this is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Of course, you can just take this directly, literally, and means that, if you have a person that will die for you, then there's no greater love than that. But of course, having a person that lives for you is in the same aspect, that laid down his life for his friends. You changing your life, you changing your behavior because you really love the people that's around you. You don't eat pork, shrimp, crab, and lobster because you love your children. You don't want your children doing the same thing. You're setting that example for them. You're making sure that they grow up and they don't think, okay, daddy did this or mommy did this, so it's okay to do. You're laying down your life for the people that you love, that the Most High may have mercy on them when you pray for them. Because you can never underestimate the power of a prayer from a righteous person. You understand? That's why you putting down all of these sins. That's why you turning your back on the world and you fighting against your flesh, because of course you're doing it because it's good for you, and of course you want to lead by example. You understand? You want to lead by example. You can use the example showing, listen, when I was doing this, then the third, this was happening. Or and now when I change my life and do things differently, I'm getting a different result. Understand? You are putting down your life, you laying down your life for your friends because you love them. You changing your life because you love the people that surround you, in hopes that one day they'll look at you and how you're conducting yourself and be inspired to do the same thing. Hopefully one day when your kids grow, they'll look at you and the example that you set for them and be inspired to walk that same path. You understand? They say, greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. Ye are my friends if ye do whatsoever I command you. You understand? You're a friend of Christ if you obey him. If you obey in Christ, then he's on your side. And that's something that we all need, because listen, we are in the last days. I know that Christ left a long time ago, a long, long time ago. There's been generation after generation. There's been curse and punishment back to back. But these are the last days. And when Christ come back, you're gonna want him to be your friend, or to have already known you from your actions. You understand? You're gonna want him on your side, because when he come back, it's not gonna be a nice day. It's not going to be rainbows and unicorns and glitter everywhere and sunshine. It's going to be a dark day. You understand? They said that the sky is going to crack open. That angels, 100 millions of angels, going to pour out of the sky and start to lay judgment. You understand? That's what's going to happen. And you don't want to be on the wrong side of that judgment when Christ come back. Best to obey him. Best to listen to him right now. It's gonna be too late in that day, and that day is close. Like how we brought out in the beginning of the class, but you focus on is which going to drive you and give you more motivation. Focus on that any given day, literally any day, Christ can come through that sky, and all of your suffering, all your issues is going to be nothing. It ain't going to mean nothing then. You're not gonna have no more time to go back and change it. You understand me? It's like you preparing for a test. You studying and you studying and you studying, and now it's time to take the test, and now it's time to get it graded. You understand? You not worrying about all that stressing you did. You just worrying about, man, what's the grade I'm going to get? It's the same thing when Christ comes. It's going to be too late to try to go back and change anything. Understand? It's gonna be way too late. You can't try to give up this everlasting blessing that we're gonna receive when Christ comes. You can't give that up for just short-term pleasure. You can't give it up. It's gonna be a battle, of course, because we're living in hell. We're living in hell. If you're being hurt and you're being afflicted physically, you're going to want the pain to stop. You're going to do anything to make that pain stop. You're going to go to the pharmacy, get a pill. You understand? You're going to get some cream, some ointment, some ice or something to try to make that pain stop. Same thing as being in hell. We're in hell constantly. We're going to want this pain to stop some way. And one thing about America is going to offer us multiple ways to make the pain stop temporarily. You understand? What God is offering us is everlasting peace. No more pain. You understand? It's not going to be an easy, quick fix like grabbing a blunt. That's an easy, quick fix. You know what I mean? You go and you try to smoke your problems away, or you try to go and take your mind off of the reality of things. Now you're going to have to fight these thoughts. Understand? You're going to have to fight them back, actively fight them back with your own thoughts, and you'll find some good ways to fight by obeying Christ and following the example that He led when He was tempted, when them demons came to Him and tried to put those thoughts in His mind to kill Himself. You understand? Try to put them thoughts in His mind to go against the Most High. If you follow Him and you do what He tells you to do, then you'll be all right. You understand? I'm gonna drop that. Or to Matthew chapter 18, verse 21.
Matthew chapter 18, verse 21. Then came Peter to him and said, Lord, how oft shall my brother sin against me, and I forgive him? Till 7 times?
It say Peter came to Christ and said, how many times do I have to forgive my brother? You understand? Because your brother, your sister, people in your life will do things sometimes that you don't agree with. You understand? And he asking, how many times do I have to forgive him? No, especially in a relationship. You know, you're gonna be with somebody for 10, 15 years. Everything that they do is not gonna be okay with you. But you're gonna have to ask yourself this question: how many times am I gonna forgive him? Read that next verse.
Yahweh shall say unto him, I say unto thee, until 7 times, but until 70 times 7.
Until 70 times 7. You're going to have to forgive him over and over and over and over again. You understand? You can't just try to keep on leaving somebody and find somebody else because you don't want to forgive them no more. But you're going to find somebody else, and guess what? They're going to do stuff that you're going to have to forgive them for. You understand? You're going to have to continually forgive that person, whether it's a friendship or something more intimate, whether it's, father, son, mother, daughter, on both ends of the relationship, you're going to do things and they're going to do things that's not okay. You're going to have to constantly forgive each other, because that temporary pleasure that you get from just leaving somebody is not going to last. It's not going to last, and it's not going to be worth the risk that you're taking when you leave them or when you stop the friendship, because you don't want to forgive them. Because remember, you don't want to forgive your brother, the Most High is going to remember that when it's time for you to need forgiveness from Him. You understand? You don't want to forgive your wife or your husband. The Most High is going to remember that. You understand? Your husband and your wife is going to remember that when it's time for you to need forgiveness. It say you shall forgive him 70 times 7. And that's just the mature thing about life. Things are not always going to go your way. Things are not always going to be peaceful in no relationship. Whether it's a relationship with your car, it's not always going to be easy. Whether it's a relationship with your job, not always going to be easy. At school, with your friends, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, with your daughter, with your son, brother, sister, mother, father, it's never going to be easy. It's never always going to be easy. And it's never always going to be okay. Y'all see eye to eye, or y'all not going to, get on each other's nerves or offend each other. It's going to happen. And the mature thing to do is to just forgive them. You understand? It's going to have to forgive them. That's going to make the relationship last longer. You understand? It's going to give you that relationship that everybody is dying for, like how our grandparents had and our great grandparents had. They could forgive each other. Understand? They could soften their heart and not hold a grudge towards them. You understand? I'm gonna drop that. You got any questions online?
Nope.
All right, with that being said, I pass the class off to Priest and Officer Daniela.